So I'm a bit too lazy to write this down, but last night at around 3 a.m., I experienced the vibrations again. And what happened was that as the vibrations came on, I started to become conscious that I was in a deep, relaxed enough state, the period in between sleep and awakeness, where I could be conscious yet still relaxed enough to be asleep. So the vibrations happened. And while they were happening, I actually started to question, how am I going to remember what happens next? How am I going to realize if what I am experiencing is an alternate sort of reality, or am I just going to forget that I am even conscious in the first place? So something interesting happened. I started to feel that I was holding something in my hands. It felt like I was holding these car keys. And then I started to realize, wait a second, like I wasn't holding my car keys as I was falling asleep. So then I realized that, hey, like I could use this as a signal that I'm in some sort of alternate state of thought. So then I let the vibrations continue. And as they started to kind of subdue, kind of like go down, I ended up in this area of total blackness. I didn't say clarity now, but what ended up happening was all I did was all I did was feel for myself to open my astral eyes, and then it worked. Like my eyes opened, and I ended up in this darkish room that wasn't my own. I got up out of that bed that I was laying in, and then I went to the door. That was, yeah, I went to the door. There were these large, kind of very unique doors. These two types of doors that you kind of push outwards. So I pushed those doors outwards. And when I went into the room, when I went into that room, I saw this big table, this island-like table, and I saw my roommates. I saw my roommate's girlfriend sitting closest to me at the edge of the island table, and then I saw my friend sitting on the other end of the island table. And I walked up to them, and I felt this interesting sensation. I felt this interesting sensation that I could feel my body, but at the same time, I knew that wasn't my actual body because of the altered state of consciousness. It just felt like I was kind of floating, like, kind of like, what do you call it? Gliding along. I tried to listen to the conversation that my roommate and his girlfriend were having, but I couldn't understand. For some reason, the language was kind of jumbled, kind of distorted, and I couldn't really understand what she was saying. And I guess as I started to focus on the girlfriend and my roommate, some things changed. I started waving in front of their faces, and then they both turned to look at me. And then I was surprised. I was like, "Whoa, you can see me?" And they're like, "Yeah, we can see you." And they started to talk to me. And I don't remember much of what we talked about, but began to lose focus, and my focus changed to my friend. And for some reason, uh, the girlfriend disappeared, and a bunch of other people appeared around the table, and my friend was still there. But for some weird reason, he was a lot older, like ridiculously old, like maybe 70 years old, maybe 80 years old. What I remember asking him was, "What time period are you from?" I kept asking him that, like, "Hey, tell me, what time period are you from?" Because he looked so much older. Like he had to be from some other time to be that old, and he actually refused to answer that question for me. But he was kind of, I don't know, he had this look on his face. Like he wanted to tell me, but he couldn't. So I just said to him, I said, hey, it's okay. You don't have to answer. Like, just know that I love you, man. And then I just patted him on the shoulder, and then he smiled, and then he continued to talk, which I don't really remember much of what he said. So I just texted my friend. And I asked him, hey, random question, what were you and your girlfriend up to last night? And unfortunately, he told me that around the time period that I asked him, because when I woke up from the vibrations, I looked at the clock and it was about 3:40. He said that he was definitely asleep by then, but his girlfriend could have possibly been awake. And especially around 2 o'clock in the morning, he believed that she was probably talking to him. So, you know what? I don't know really what I experienced. Right now, I'm actually recording this more of for myself, not of as a official YouTube video. It's kind of late in the day. I just woke up. I woke up earlier, but yeah, I went back to sleep. Anyways, that pretty much concludes my update for experiencing the vibrations. One of my concerns, though, is that what I'm experiencing is not really metaphysical. There's just the possibility that I'm just opening up my pineal gland and releasing a lot of DMT into my system, and therefore experiencing some sort of psychedelic trip. And it may not have to do with anything spiritual or metaphysical. It could just do with what chemicals are in my brain. And this is just a hypothesis. This is just a fleeting thought of mine that I'm potentially considering. I'm not considering it as a full truth, but at the same time, I do have to put it into consideration, because so far, I have not been able to enter the real time zone. In fact, this is the closest that I've ever been to entering any sort of interaction with the actual world, with the actual physical world, because I've actually never seen a friend in a dream before. Well, not a dream, but altered state of consciousness that happens after the vibrations. I don't have a name for that yet, but I'll come up with a name for that. So anyways, that's pretty much everything. Thanks for joining me today, and I will talk to you soon. Peace.